it. Did you bite off more than you can chew? If you saw our live teaser, you know what that's all about. But if you didn't, let me explain to you what we are doing tonight. This is some of your most common aquarium fish that you're going to go to your pet store and either impulse bought, or you just didn't know that these animals got big, or as described, a foot-long fish, probably fits in my 30-gallon aquarium. You didn't really realize how big a foot-long fish is, including length and girth, as well as waist. So, I have some common aquarium fish that you may have run into, that you may have purchased, and had some fish regret, and I'd like to offer you some solutions. So if you like something that looks big, that sounds awesome, but you just don't have the right tank for it, or you're really not planning on upgrading to that, 5,000-gallon aquarium, we're going to show you some other fish that will fit that bill. I should say gill. I guess in the aquarium store, it's the same thing. So come on over here, and we're going to start with the proverbial comet. Now this is an animal that, has been around for thousands of years. So this is still not that large. This is still, I'd say, it's got another 3 to 4 inches to grow, and really, truly, honestly, best for either 6-foot aquariums or ponds outdoors. If you live up north, this is a great fish to have. They're very, very hardy, and they do come in a variety of colors. This is your classic pond comet and kind of the base for all of your fancy goldfish and all of your fancy colored pond comets, your sargassos, your shabunkins. And I would say probably one of the most common animals that people purchase at the aquarium store or get as a feeder, or are the lucky winners of your child's prized goldfish. This will kind of give you an idea on how big this animal does get, and has one of the largest waste producing things out there. They don't really have intestinal tracts, so they are going to be constantly eating, constantly pooping. I'm sorry, they do have intestinal tracts, they do not have stomachs. There you go. So they have a long intestinal tract. They're going to create a lot of waste. So they are beautiful animals. They're fun to own. I love them. I grew up with them. I had them in my 80-gallon. Actually, it was a hex tank, so really not the perfect tank for this type of fish. But they're fantastic animals. Long lifespan, plan on a good 15, if not 20 plus years on this fish, and very, very hardy. So this is, I say, is probably the most common animal out there that people get into, that they don't realize how long they live, how hardy they are, and really and truly how much space they do need. Even in a larger aquarium, you got to figure this fish is going to count for quite a bit of waste. So even in a 55-gallon tank where you've got him, know that he counts for several of your standard tetras or other things like that. Figure he's about a 15 to 20 filling up space for those tetras. So awesome fish, commonly misunderstood, and this still is not full grown. Plan around 12 inches full grown on this. So if you want to step down, you've got a nice 29-gallon tank. And you want to step down to a different type of goldfish. You like this animal, you like that it's hardy, it's cold water. Let's take a look at these fantails. Yeah, they're still big, aren't they? So again, another very common misconception is you're going to get this cute little fantail. You've got a 10-gallon tank or a 5-gallon tank, or even, unfortunately, a bowl. And you just really don't understand that the fish, one, doesn't belong in a bowl. And really and truly, maybe you could start in a 10-gallon tank with a very small fantail. As long as you've got good filtration, you're maintaining the water chemistry, and you plan on upgrading, you can start with a 10-gallon for this animal. Just know that you may be the only animal in there until you can really truly upgrade and give him the space he needs. These fish are fantastic. This is another one, common fish, like I say, classic fish. This is another one I grew up with. Again, has a long lifespan and quite a bit of personality. As you can see, they come in a variety of colors, and which was developed in about 1603. I love that you can really track these goldfish, way back thousands of years. This is in the kind of the Ming Dynasty. After the standard comet here was brought in, they were starting to bring these animals into their ponds inside, or aquariums inside, and find out kind of these mutations that they found attractive and started breeding out for it. So this animal dates far back, down into the early 1600s, 1603 actually, BC. And you start to breed out these traits. What's fascinating is you can actually track some of these traits, and the goldfish we have today still carry these traits and are highly, highly prized. They kind of spread out to that, over in the 1620s over in Europe. That's kind of where they kind of spread out. And folks, I think, as an anniversary gift over in Europe in the 1620s, it was common for you to give your wife a goldfish on their first anniversary. The scales are metallic, and it was thought to bring prosperity and growth and fortune. And they would give their wives a goldfish for their first anniversary. I'd say fortunately they became so popular that tradition kind of actually came to a close fairly quickly as the aquarium had to grow. So if you'd like to bring this tradition back and start giving your wives a goldfish on their birthday anniversary, that works though. Either way, make sure you're getting them a good size aquarium so this animal can be housed in the proper size, and I promise you'll be very, very excited to have this guy long term. Now, if you've got your 10-gallon aquarium and you really aren't, you're not planning on upgrading. You like the goldfish, you like their color, you like what they do for the aquarium and the personality. Swordtails are a fantastic alternative. This guy is going to add a ton of color, still have lots of personality, and like the goldfish, there's actually going to be a variety of color traits. This is a koi swordtail. That's why I chose him, because we're still kind of on the pond comment thing here. Hey there, Adam. Hello. Hello, Kirby. Thank you for watching. I wonder if Rick will get Debbie a goldfish for their anniversary. I know, Kirby. You'll have to ask Rick and let me know if that happened. So swordtails are great. They're still a little bit snarky, a little bit nippy in a 10-gallon tank. But I think with the proper tetras and the proper cover, swordtails can be a fantastic alternative. So this is a great way of going from your comet goldfish right down to your swordtail. That way you've got the fish that kind of fits what your agenda is for every size aquarium. If you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, I didn't bring them, and you've got a 5-gallon tank. Ember tetras would be a fantastic alternative looking for a bright orange fish for nano tanks. Hey Roger, thank you. If I had given my wife a goldfish, I wouldn't be here today. Yeah, Roger, unfortunately some of us don't always have a fish partner, but luckily some of us have found the fish partner, and we have gained many, many tanks in our homes. So maybe try giving her a goldfish and a tank. I don't know if that'll work, Roger. All right, now we're gonna get into some of the big boys. Let me show you off this picture. Check this bad boy out. Look at this thing. That's a big fish. I didn't know the darn thing got that big. I just saw it in the aquarium. It looks cute. They're swimming around. They've got these cute little faces. Even within their Latin name, they've got this. Their Latin name literally translates into big lip fish. And although I would like to lay a big old smackaroo right on his little face. All right, so we're back. We have some technical difficulties out here, and it's the Wi-Fi is a little bit scarce. It is a fish farm after all, so we are back with round 2. I'm going to let you guys catch back on. I am so sorry for losing you. I promise I have a fantastic show that we are going to continue. So what we are covering is common fish you are going to purchase in your aquarium store that you didn't really realize how big they get or how much of a commitment they really and truly are. And we're here to offer you solutions and alternatives to those big monster beasties. So we covered comets and fantails and swordtails, and actually pretty perfect timing because we are on to your next big beastie of the show. Patrick, we got some people back on? Yep. All right, we're back on. All right, I'm going to bring you over to this black shark. You may have saw the clip at the end of that one. Now I'm going to show him off again and talk about how big of a beastie this thing is, because I don't think a lot of people realize how big of a monster this is. When you see this guy in the aquarium store, he's adorable. Look at this little guy. His Latin name even directly translates into fish with big lips. And although I would like to lay a big old smackaroo on this kissy little fish's lips, that may be a bad idea, well, for many reasons. Don't kiss your fish, it's not good, folks. This fish is not nice. He's kind of a little snot, and that's putting it nicely. They do have their place. When I talk about these monster fish, we do carry them because there are people that have monster fish. They have monster fish tanks, and they know how to properly house them, keep them well, keep them long. So they do have their place in this life, and I say have a well-deserved place, especially like with monster fish keepers. I know you guys are a big fan of a lot of these guys I'm going to show off. So this is the black shark. This is a common one you're going to see. He stays, looking like he's going to be small, but he gets quite large. And this fish is highly aggressive, highly territorial. So unlike the red tail, which we're going to show off next, this is a fish that is going to chase, harass, bite, maim, and destroy. That is what he does. And it's just because in the wild he has a substantial living area where he can really kind of cruise around and fend off the other ones. So this guy is native to Asia. He's going to cruise around, he's going to have his territory, and these guys migrate for hundreds of miles. So that kind of goes back to he's really not a mean fish. I call him a snarky little snot in the aquarium because we can find him down. So in a bigger tank with some, more aggressive cichlids, pike cichlids, things like that, you've got that big deep dimension tank. This is a great dither fish and a great bottom feeder. So if you've got the big monster fish keepers tanks, you've got the aggressive fish to go along with it, this is a fantastic bottom feeder. But for us, unbeknownst, into the aquarium, we've got our cute little community, we've got our 30-gallon tank, we purchased this animal, we wake up to some bit of destruction. So, I like this fish, what else can I do? Let me show you. Alright, your solution is a red-tailed shark. Now let me bring you up to this red-tailed shark Speed here. Speed is there zipping by. Hi, little cuties. They're very curious, very adventurous. As a girl, they get to be a little bit more nocturnal. They're still going to be a good-sized animal, and I would say, 40-gallon long or 55-gallon really is going to be the most appropriate for this animal, as they do get around 5 to 6 inches full grown. So, again, Fantastic alternative to your big black shark over there, but the red-tailed shark is still going to require some space and still going to have an aggressive personality. I would say he's going to be more nippy and more fishy than your black shark, but otherwise still a great bottom feeder for that little more semi-aggressive aquarium, cichlid aquarium, as far as that goes. Now the caveat with these guys is you do one or you do a big group, and even in a big group understand that you may not have all of them at the end of the day. Hey Sandy, thanks for hopping back in. We had some technical errors and we're back. Which is more aggressive, red tail or rainbow? You know, honestly, I think the red tail still holds a little bit more aggression than the rainbow shark. I don't really know why, but I would say after the 30 years of aquarium keeping, it's just more of an observation. So I don't know how really true that is. That's just my own understanding and my own keeping of these animals, that I found the red tail to be slightly more aggressive than the rainbow. So I don't know what you guys think, but that's kind of my answer to that, Nathan. Hopefully that helps out. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for hopping back in. All right, but you have a 10-gallon, and the red-tailed shark, although you love him, you love that the thing is called a shark, really and truly is not. You know, you want to make your kids happy, you want to have that shark-like animal in your tank, you have a solution. Of course we do. You have a million fish, you got solutions. This is your emerald cory. Now I picked this of all the cories, and there are several different kind of cories you can select from. If you want one that's a little bit more shark-like, you can go with something like a skunk, intimidators, goodness, aldelphis. There's so many different cory cats you can choose. But I chose this green because I really wanted to show something that was indestructible and perfect for your 10-gallon aquariums. This fish is great in schools. You can see they're actually much more active in larger schools. So if you really want to kind of pass this off to your kids as a shark-like behavior, it's fun. And let me tell you, at feeding time, these guys are not hesitant. You get something stinky like some blackworms, or some good frozen food, some good tablets, you know, good commercial food that are made for scavengers. These guys are going to come out in droves and they are going to attack it, just like a little feeding shark frenzy. Is it true they don't breed tanks? Actually, the red tail, you talked about the red-tailed sharks, Nathan, or the cory cats? The red-tails? Nathan, actually, the really cool thing about the red-tailed shark is they are basically extinct in the wild. Actually, in 1996, they were declared completely extinct. It wasn't until the early 2000s that someone found a small population of the red-tailed sharks. So they are highly endangered, but luckily these guys, they don't breed easily in aquariums, but they do figure out how to breed them in ponds. So the red-tailed sharks are largely bred in ponds. All the ones we have are commercially bred. And now that they are commercially bred like that, it's really kind of neat of being part of that conservation story. We now are raising an aquarium animal that otherwise would be extinct in the wild. And that's, you know, largely due to habitat destruction. Not so much a fishing industry, but of all the habitat loss, the pollution that has gone on over in Thailand, this fish really just kind of lost their home. So, you know, owning this animal really is kind of, you know, near and dear to my heart, because it's simply being part of the big picture just by purchasing this animal. So, yeah, thanks for asking that. It's kind of neat. All right, next. You all know this fish, so let's show this bad boy off. All right, come on up here, Patrick. Let me see them. Show them this picture. There you go. That's what we want to see. Now, I got these guys with people holding them because I really wanted you to see how large this animal gets. It's hard to look at this fish in a picture in a fish tank and say, you know what, that's a big fish. Hey, Denise, thanks for hopping in. We're covering big fish, and when you don't have the tank for them, there are alternatives. So this is the clown knight, and definitely a popular fish. You can see why. You know, the undulating fin is just, it's captivating. They're stunning, stunning animals. Unfortunately, they get large. So unless you've got that big 220, you've got that 300 deep dimension, you know, you really want to think about pivoting to an animal this large. Certainly you can start this in a smaller tank, a 40 gallon, a 55, and knowing that you're going to have to upgrade, and you're going to have to upgrade quickly. A lot of these animals that get large like this, they grow very quickly in those first couple of years, and then they do slow down their growth. So I'd say if you're going to get it, plan on within a year bumping up to that big tank and just giving the animal what it needs to thrive. Yeah, very nice fish. You know, I think this is a beautiful animal, especially the royal clown mice. There's albino clown mice and cystic clown mice. So I think it's a fantastic animal, but you really do want to get your research done before you commit to a fish like this. So before you commit to a big beastie like this, take a step back. You've got all Google on your phones, and if you don't, I'm sure the aquarium store would be very happy to help you pick out the right fish for your size aquarium. All right. So what's next? You've got your 55, you love the night fish. You know, what can I do? You can get one of these guys, and they're adorable. Look at their cute little faces. Look at these guys. Let's see your Jupiter Blue Rams, Tom. I don't have any rams on this particular episode, Tom, but I do have them in past episodes. And we will be happy to do rams one day. We actually have several different color morphs in stock now. So we've got the blacks, the blue frost, the golds, but we'll talk rams for another day. So we are talking alternatives to your big bad boy fish, and if you don't have the tank to do them, what else can you do? So this is the African brown knife. I really like this fish because it's going to be something that is much more outgoing. The knives in this particular group, you can tell, they're curious. They're coming up to the camera. They want to see what's going on. Unlike your common knife over there that tends to be much more nocturnal, your African knife is going to be one that's going to come out, check things out, and stays a lot smaller. Not nearly as aggressive as your clown knife. Still predatory. He's still going to eat things. But he's going to be able to kind of hang out in the aquarium, get around a foot long. Plan on 8 to 12 inches. So I still think, a foot long animal, especially when he's got some girth to him, and a 55-gallon aquarium might be a little small long term. So 75 or 90 would be where I would go with this fish. Still very tankable. Truly and honestly, other than the beauty of the clown knife. Yeah, hi guys, they think I'm going to feed him. You little cuties. That's another great thing about them. They think they're going to get hand fed. They're awesome. This is a wild-caught specimen. You can see how friendly these guys are coming up, thinking that they're actually going to come up and get some food. Look at that. How can you not fall in love with that fish? So, get your bigger tank. This is a great fish. Great one if you like knives. A little bit more placid, and definitely going to stay on the smaller end. Perfect for those tanks. Hello, Rex. Thank you for watching. All right. My mom said I can't get to 75 or 90. I have been demoted. Now what am I going to do? All right, and although this fish is not in the knife family, this is kind of that perfect alternative. Let me see if I can actually pull the black out, see if you can see these guys a little bit better. Here, buddies. Right, come forward. There you go. These are glass catfish. I love this animal, and if you ask Chris Watts, he is actually our domestic buyer here. This is his favorite, and you can see why. I think this fish is widely overlooked, and although it's not a true knife at all, it truly is a catfish. It actually kind of behaves just like them. What's really neat is that the pigment in their muscles actually doesn't have any melanophores. It's transparent. And as that develops, it actually has kind of a crystal-like structure, which creates a mirror-like effect so they can blend into their surroundings much more than other animals. So it's not just that they're clear, but it is actually the development of the structure in their muscles that they're going to reflect back. So other fish, as they're trying to find them, they can't see them. So it may just be one of these fish that we've had around forever, we take for granted, but if you really kind of get into studying the glass catfish, they're very awesome. 10-gallon tank, I say do great for them, as long as you are really being careful on the water chemistry. They cannot tolerate ammonium nitrite or really high nitrates at all. So just make sure you're keeping up on your water changes. They love to come out for snacks and treats, bloodworms, blackworms, daphnia, brine shrimp, all those things would be great things to feed these glass cats. And if you want to talk about a thing that a kid could get excited about, glass cat is a fantastic animal to get your kids into the hobby. Alright, so we've covered our clown knife, we've covered our African knife, glass cats. What's next? Pacu. Alright. Now Pacu, I think, this is a misunderstood fish because you often see these guys commercially available and they're adorable. Look at these little guys. This guy's kind of hiding out of here. Come here, buddy. Check out this little guy. Look at his little stripes, his little eyes. He's there you go. Now he's checking out the camera. So you can see this little critter's coming out. He's checking you out. You see him in the pet store. You assume that he's going to get small. You hear that he's going to get good size. You hear around a foot long, sometimes 24 inches, but you plan on upgrading. Unfortunately, this is a fish that is probably going to need an upgrade larger than most people can really honestly keep. So monster fish keepers, you guys are the people out there that this fish is appropriate for. This fish is great in those big tanks. They have a black personality. Actually, we're going to come down to these albinos now, Patrick, here. Look at this albino. They're beautiful. This is the red belly Pacu up top. I grabbed some of the albino red bellies on the bottom, and they're hilarious. Check these guys out. Looks like they're all laughing at us. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that little Pacu. So these guys are still young. They're really under 6 months old. And when we commercially breed these, I was asking the person that breeds these, that's Chris as well, and he was saying his females would easily max out around 20 inches and be over 18 pounds. So this is not a fish for the faint of heart, and not a fish if you don't plan on getting a big tank, you may want to consider another animal. Actually, if you want to come up here, Patrick, this is just a red belly. There's a red belly and there's also a black. The black does get bigger, but plan on your red belly being a solid 24 inches. So that is a bit of a beast of an animal. They're closely related to piranha, but the fun thing about them, or the creepy thing about them, really depends on what you think. They have almost like a human-like teeth structure. So I'm sure you've seen pictures online where you can open up their teeth and it looks like, you know, maybe they need a dentist because you can see their molars, incisors, and tricuspids. It's kind of nifty. They do love to eat lettuce. They love to eat vegetation. So as these animals get larger, you can actually throw in, you know, chunks of lettuce and watch them kind of race as they tear it apart. So you can see why they're popular. You can see why people really enjoy them, but maybe not the right fish for most aquariums out there. So alternatives. You know we got something for you. We got silver dollars. Look at these pretty little babies. I love these guys. And silver dollars, honestly, has been a fish that has been around since I can remember. A very, very long time. Nathan, we worked at a pet store in high school and we fed them pinky mice. Oh dear, Nathan. Although the pacu are omnivorous, yeah, I don't know if I'd be feeding pinky mice. It may be interesting. I think I might stick to lettuce. But, you know, if fish see something that they're going to try and eat, that would be one of them. The silver dollars, again, are a higher, you know, definitely a vegetarian. They still are going to get good size. Plan on around 8 to 12 inches, 12 inches being honestly a very, very large specimen. And again, they're also closely related to pacu, closely related to piranha. So, you know, you kind of have this similar body shape, this similar behavior, but silver dollars are much more appropriate for smaller tanks and smaller. I'm still talking 55, 75, 90 gallons. But they do great in shoals. They're a great dither fish for your more peaceful cichlids. They can't take a whole lot of damage. I'd say they're a little on the sensitive side as far as that goes. But other than that, silver dollars have been around for a long time, and I love that their Latin name literally translates into covered in silver. There's many different types of silver dollars as far as variations. You've got your blueberries, you've got your wide bars. So there's not just this guy, there's several different kind of color morphs that you can really get excited about, the red hooks. So don't just think this is the only one out there. Wait, there's more. I'm gonna, let's see some German blue. You guys love the German blue rams. I can't blame you. Hey, but we will have to get into a German blue ram and hatchet episode at some point. Next time, let's see what I can do. All right, but you got that 10-gallon tank. I like the silver dollars. My mom had silver dollars. You've got something that is, you know, really near and dear to your heart, but you just don't have the tank for them. These are the red and blue Colombians. I like this fish. It is something I would say that is going to be completely underestimated and highly passed up until they get to be adult size, and then everybody wants them. So this fish still gets that beautiful kind of, you know, spankling to them, but I like this animal because they get the red in the tail and they get that blue kind of sheen on top of them. A little bit, you know, more elongated than your silver dollar, but great in schools. Going to be a very active fish, going to add a lot of color to your tank and still offer that sparkle. A 10-gallon may be a little small just because of their behavior, but again, if you're going to go up to things like swordtails or other bigger bodied touches, I think you could do a small group in a 10-gallon tank and be just fine. I just would avoid putting it with the guppies. I was reading your comments there, making sure we're not missing anything. All right. And truly, I'm sorry, Patrick. Poor Patrick's hanging out here. We're having to bend down the middle row. Truly one of the beasts of the show. You all know what this is. If you don't, you've probably seen it. Or some variation of it. This is actually the red tail hybrid. So this is usually hybridized with a tiger shovelnose or other types of shovelnose catfish. I wanted to bring him on because this fish, you know, I get it. This fish is beautiful. He's adorable. You see him in the store, and you want him. There you go. I want to turn them sideways so you can really see how pretty they are. So red-tailed cats are great. They're awesome. Personality, up the yin-yang, and if you want a trash can of a fish as far as I'm going to eat anything I think fits in my mouth, this one pretty much fits that bill. They got this, you know, kind of wide grin on their face, these big old eyeballs are staring at you, and this guy's going to come out and definitely want to come up and eat food, no problem. Let me show you why you may not want this animal. There we go. Look at that. And they can get a little larger than this. If your fish have been featured on River Monsters, you may want to consider getting a River Monster sized tank. And I'd say the thing with your red-tailed cats is they're going to grow fast. This is not something you want to plan on getting a small tank and upgrading because you're going to be upgrading several times within a year. Unless you just upgrade to that 220 right off the bat and know that you're probably within the next year going to want something customized. So if you're planning on getting a red-tailed cat, I highly recommend seeking out a custom-sized tank, your monster aquarium fish. That is definitely what you're going to be looking for. And I would say a rewarding animal if you're really, truly willing to commit to a 5,000 to 10,000 gallon aquarium, because that's really what it's going to take to keep an animal of this size. So, love the animal, love their personality. They're probably one of the most popular fish in the aquarium hobby. Here, Patrick, I don't know if you can come up here. We've got the water kicking on pretty good, so you may not be able to see that pattern on top of them. Not really? Kind of. Our tanks are auto-filling, you know, they turn over about 11 times an hour to give these fish a good amount of filtration. But again, beautiful animal, I get it. They're pretty, but before you take this fish home, so you have to bring it back to the store, or try and rehome it to a zoo, which let me tell you, most of your zoos are pretty already packed for these guys. Make sure you've got the right tank for the right fish. Alright, so most of us out there do not have the tank for this guy. I have an excellent alternative. Ignore the swordtail in here. I know he's pretty. He's actually left over from the last live. So I'm going to scoop this little Pictus cat up here. We actually only had one in stock because they are that popular. Look at this little beauty. There you go. So Pictus cats are fantastic. There are two types in this group. There's a small spot and a large spot. This is your large spot, and he's going to stay smaller than your small spot, if that makes any sense at all. And you can see they still have that long whiskers. They don't have the red, but they do have this beautiful pattern on them. And as you can see, they can be quite active. As they age, as they settle into your aquarium, they're going to be a little bit more nocturnal and still going to be a predator. So if you've got small fish, you put a dozen cardinals in there, they're probably going to be gone overnight because he is going to fill his belly and then still try and shove more fish in his face. That's just what they do. So I think Pictus cats are great. They're great. They're, I'd say, 30 gallons is really kind of making me cringe a little bit to put one in when it's full grown. Just because of their size and their activity level. But if you've got a 40-gallon long, 55-gallon tank, you've got a nice, I'd say barb tank with bigger barbs, Maharajas, things like that, I think Pictus cats are fantastic. Stick to more rounded-bodied fish, you tend to be safer. If you've got long, skinny fish, even like a Denisoni barb, and you've got a nice big Pictus cat, I would be a little bit concerned that your Pictus cat may try and consume your Denisoni barb. He may not be able to actually eat it, but still a little bit worrisome. So again, your bigger skirt touches, your heavier bodied community cichlids, great fish. Pictus cats, what's great is they're community friendly. They can go together, you can have multiples of them, and have a little Pictus cat heyday community in your aquarium. So don't have a tank or a red tail, still looking for something fun and exciting. Pictus cats are the next on my list. Alright. Next we have these little cuties. Look at these little monsters, little bumblebees. I love them. I didn't say it was my favorite, right? I said I love them. I know, we're going to say that a lot tonight. So bumblebees are adorable. We just put them in here and they're sort of kind of hopping around and kind of scooting around. And that's because they're pretty nocturnal. So I say this is going to be a fish. Don't expect to see a whole lot during the day. What's fun is if you get kind of blue lights in your tank or you get red lights going on, you turn off your white lights, the fish are going to think that it's twilight or getting close to dark, which is when they're more active, and feed them. If you put a little ball of black rooms in there, it is going to be like a shark feeding frenzy. If you've got kids or you're just a big kid at heart, it's always exciting to see a big ball of fish, scarfing up some worms, carrying around like little footballs, because that's, honestly, that's why we have aquariums, is to enjoy it. So bumblebee cats, they max at 3 inches. So perfect animal for, I'd say, sure, that 10-gallon tank, this is a perfect little catfish for you to put in there. Just keep in mind that he is a predator. He does have a bit of a mouth on him, so if you're going to put small fish in there, expect him to eat them. So, swordtails, mollies, things like that, your Colombian treasures that we just showed off, heavier bodied fish are going to be perfectly fine with your little bumblebee catfish. These guys are from Venezuela, so they can actually tolerate a little bit more acidic water, up to more neutral, but really for the most part are decently adaptable. Clown loaches. I do have clown loaches, Ava. They're actually on the other row. I didn't choose to show them off because I didn't have any big beasties of loaches to show you. So maybe just for you guys, I'll have to do a hatchet, ram, and loach. Loach episode. Thank you. Good suggestion. Clown loaches are great, but they do get fairly large over time. So if you're going to get a clown loach, plan on, probably a 6-foot tank, because over time they can get around 18 to 20 inches, but it really does take clown loaches quite a long time to get anywhere near that size. So I think clown loaches are a relatively safe critter to stick in like a 30-gallon tank to start with, and knowing you're going to have to upgrade. Alright, this brings me to my last 3. I know this is a bit of a long episode. Thank you for hanging in there. And I think this is probably number 1 on my list. This is why I saved it for last. And I think the marketing of this fish truly is genius. Whoever named this the iridescent shark, kudos to you, because you're probably sitting on the beach drinking some Kool-Aid, having a nice day because you named this animal a shark. It's truly a catfish, but honestly it does look like a shark. I get it, they're awesome, they're active, they cruise around, and they have a pretty endearing face. I will say I fell victim to this as a kid. I bought it, I saved up my money, ran to the fish store and grabbed one of these. And as the year kind of went out, was kind of perplexed as this animal went from a 3-inch fish to a 12-inch fish fairly quickly. And it was a little bit heartbreaking that I had to get him back to the store. So, yes, back in that day there was not Google. We had to read books and rely on our neighbors. So I learned that this animal does get around 3 to 4 feet. and really and truly only belongs in public aquariums or monster fish keepers. You guys do a great job of keeping those big tanks out there because they are peaceful, they are fun, they're very active. This is a Southeast Asian river fish, so they're very used to traveling hundreds of miles. I'd love to see these too. All right, Patrick, why don't you show them the picture? So I don't have a picture of anyone fishing on this guy because I actually really appreciated this from the Atlantis aquariums over there. To give you an idea, this is about a 6-inch pike, and these Ospernemus gouramis hanging out here are around 3 feet. So just looking at the bulk of this animal and thinking of trying to stick it into a 220. So you've got a 4-foot fish that's going to weigh, 18, 20 pounds. Hanging out in the 220 just isn't going to cut it. It just doesn't work. So I fall in love with this fish. It's a classic fish. I just really don't have the tank to do it. Let me show you some other options. There we go. All right, now Siamensis. I like this fish. So I know it doesn't have the blue iridescence of the guys I was just showing you, but this guy actually is going to be a bit of a workhorse. If you want to talk to your kids about having kind of that shark-like behavior, this is one of them. So still going to get around, 5 inches, going to be a big fish. It's going to be an active fish. Great for planted aquariums because this guy loves to snack on hair algae. So if you're looking for a workhorse that's going to be a shark-like in your aquarium, I think the Siamensis is going to be kind of nice step down. Not truly a shark, and neither is the other guy over there. So kind of perfect to fit in the bill. He actually will do a job and do well in like a 55-gallon tank. I say that because they do get snarky, they do get nippy. So you either do one, or again, you do a large group like 6 of them. If you try and do 3, over time you'll probably have one that grows fairly large and kind of beats up the other 2. And then you'll end up with 1 or 1 and 2 very sad critters hiding out in your tank. So 30-gallon for one of them, 55-gallon for a group of them. I think an excellent option if you like the iridescent sharks. There's not a whole lot that is exactly like that. So this is kind of a nice step down and still going to actually be a productive critter within your aquarium community. All right, I don't have a 55. I don't have a 29. My parents said I could only have a 10-gallon tank. Shame on you parents, upgrade your kids. All right. So this beautiful little critter, I'm sure you guys recognize, this has been around forever. Glass cats, Ava, yes, actually right before end we'll show you glass cats. I've got some up there for you. The black neon tetra. I think this is definitely an overlooked fish, and if you're looking for an iridescent shark look-alike, this fish fits the bill. What I love is they get these beautiful kind of orangey red eyes to them. So again, kids, if you're looking for a shark, you've got your little black tip reef shark right here. That iridescent stripe is really going to stand out, especially in a planted aquarium. The black is going to highlight it. And as they settle in, they get these kind of neon orange eyes. So they kind of look a little bit, ominous. So again, peaceful aquarium fish, perfect for a 10-gallon, even in a 5-gallon, and well-filtered, well-maintained. You could do these guys in a 5-gallon tank if you had a small group, like 3 to 4 of them. So they're kind of the fish that fits the bill. They kind of work with the other animals you're going to keep in those smaller aquariums. They are gorgeous. And they've been around for a long time. These guys are farm raised and they're extremely hardy. So I think Black Neon Tetra is a perfect ending, that perfect caveat to your iridescent shark. And kind of make everybody happy. Your kids can't get the iridescent, but they certainly get something that looks like it. That's not going to be detrimental long term. All right, Ava, I'm going to show you the glass cats. Actually, their little divider kind of fell down here. So we have a special request from Ava here. She wants to see if we've got glass cats, so that way you don't have to cruise way back through the video. Look at those little guys. There you go, because I know we didn't have any other ones you were asking about. So Ava, we were talking about the glass cats being a perfect alternative to your clown mite. So there you go. Hopefully that you are enjoying those critters cruising around in there. If you want to find some fun facts about them that we covered earlier in the video, feel free to cruise back to it and check these critters out because they are really cool. All right, so that wraps it up for today. I know that was a bit long-winded, but I kind of wanted to cover the 6 big fish that are commonly purchased, that commonly misunderstood how big they truly get. And I don't have any big monsters for you to show you because we just can't house that kind of fish. So if you want to see them, contact someone with a big tank, go to an aquarium, get inspired, or go to your fish tank store and find out where you can get these beautiful creatures. All right, you guys take care, and we'll check you next week.